Hey, what's up? It's Ben from WODprep, and in this video, I'm gonna help teach you how to climb a rope. Whether it's your first time and you're a complete beginner, or maybe you're someone who's climbed a rope once or twice, but you're looking to get better, then this is the video for you. We're gonna go over 4 simple steps that'll help you learn how to climb a rope safely and effectively without getting injured. That's the goal here. So we have so many more videos on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram about how to climb ropes. Be sure to check out the links in the description and the links in the top comment below for additional resources on how to climb ropes. So stick around and follow the 4 steps and you will improve your rope climbs, I guarantee it. Step number 1 for learning how to climb a rope is make sure you come prepared with the right equipment. I remember when I was first learning how to climb a rope, I was at a CrossFit gym, I had older CrossFit shoes, and I did a couple rope climbs and completely destroyed my shoes. They were literally unusable. I ripped the soles off of them, the laces came apart. So step number 1 is make sure you have the right equipment. Here's what I suggest. Any modern CrossFit shoe or any modern functional fitness shoe should have a sole and an outsole that allows you to climb ropes without completely shredding it to pieces. So in this video, I will be using Reebok Nano 9s, but really any of the Reebok Nanos, any traditional Innovate shoe, or Nobles, or Nike Metcons. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different shoes that I'm not even mentioning. Most modern CrossFit or functional fitness shoes will work just fine. You have to make sure that it has a very rugged outsole and the actual soles, the corner of the soles of the shoes are extremely durable. It's important to know that you can shred your legs with the rope. I've seen people burn up their shins. I've seen them burn their calves, the inside of their thighs. I've seen people bleed after rope climbs. So make sure that wherever that rope is in contact with your body, other than maybe your hands, you need to make sure that you have some sort of protection, whether it's fabric or neoprene or some sort of special rope climbing device that will help protect your skin. It's really important to make sure that you're ready with the right equipment, and then we can move on to step number 2. Hey everyone, Coach Chad here, and I know that other guy's been telling you what to wear when you do rope climbs, but I'm here to tell you that it is incomplete. So sure, you want to make sure you have your fancy overpriced CrossFit shoes, you want to make sure you got some long socks or knee sleeves, but you also want a helmet. Because when we're climbing up 15 feet, why would you not wear a helmet? There's like rules and stuff. You're going to want gloves. Leather gloves are the perfect thing to prevent your hands, because I have very delicate hands. They're the perfect thing to wear to prevent your hands from getting torn up. But when you jump up, you just want to squeeze with your thighs as tight as you can. Just squeeze like it's a watermelon that you're trying to break. And you just squeeze, and then eventually you'll get really good at climbing ropes, like me. Step number 2, we've got the equipment, now it's time to actually learn how to climb a rope. So before you ever jump on the rope and just see if you can get to the top, I want you to understand the 4 main steps of a rope climb, specifically getting up the rope. And that is reach, lift, clamp, and stand. Let's break them all down really quickly. Number 1 is reach. In order to get up the rope effectively, we need to reach our arms as high as we possibly can to make sure that we're pulling ourselves up in as few pulls as possible. If you only reach a couple inches each time, it's going to take you a really long time to climb the rope. So first step is to reach. Usually I tell athletes to reach all the way until their arms are almost locked out completely overhead. That's how far you should reach, and then grab the rope with both hands. Next, we have lift. When I say lift, I want you to lift your knees as high as possible. So think about knees to chest. So I'm grabbing onto the rope, I'm holding on for dear life, and then from that position, I'm lifting my knees to my chest to basically get my feet as high as possible on the rope. Then we move on to step number 3, which is clamp. So rather than squeeze the rope or wrap the rope, I want you to think about clamping the rope. So the way I'm going to teach you later in this video is I clamp one foot on top of the other, and that creates an extremely strong hold on the rope. So we've reached high, we've lifted our knees and feet as high as possible. Now I clamp the rope, and then the last and probably the easiest step is just to stand up. So with my hand still in that reach, I then stand up, and it's going to now pull my reach to probably about chest level. And then we repeat that sequence to get up the rope. So again, it's reach, lift, clamp, and stand. And that is how you get up the rope. So now that you hopefully understand in your brain what it's supposed to look like, and we've broken it down into 4 main steps, now we actually need to get our hands dirty, or more accurately, our feet dirty, and start practicing our clamps. Oftentimes, I see people reach fine, they can lift their knees fine, like they do everything fine, but the gaping hole, the huge problem that they have with the rope climbs is they don't know how to clamp the rope properly and their feet slip. We can't have that. If you have slippy feet on the rope, you are using way too much arms and forearms and shoulders, and you're using way too much of your upper body to climb the rope, when honestly, it should be majority legs when you're allowed to use your legs on rope climbs. What I suggest you do is to take a box or a bench or some sort of chair that's elevated a little bit off the ground. And then from here, I want you to practice until you found the clamp that works for you. So I have a preferred clamp, but there are plenty of incredible games level athletes who can climb ropes better than me that use a different version of the clamp. And then there's a lot of people who use the one that I'm going to teach you. So what you need to do is practice from the box, like I'm showing you, practice all three of these methods. So method number one, this is probably the most common one, is the Spanish wrap. The Spanish wrap is slow, but it's very controlled. So I don't personally like it because it absolutely destroys your legs because the rope is literally wrapped around your legs. But it is a great beginner wrap because it helps people feel more secure on the rope. Since the rope is actually wrapping around one of your legs and then you're clamping it, it just feels really stable. The only issue is it's really slow to get up the rope, and sometimes you can't get your foot wrapped around the rope, and all of a sudden you're dangling there holding on for dear life with your hands. So the Spanish wrap is one I would like for you to practice, and as you can see in this video, this is the way that it's done. You can practice it, see if it works for you, and if it does, great. You can use it by all means, use it in your workouts, but these next two that I'm going to suggest are a little bit better. The next technique that I see some people use successfully is the J hook, or sometimes the J squeeze. This is a technique that works well for some people. Again, I don't personally like it. I will tell you my favorite one here in a second. But the J hook basically involves the rope making a J, and your feet are clamping together or squeezing together on your way up. This is a much quicker, much faster way to get in and out of the clamp, or get in and out of your feet on the rope as you're climbing. However, again, like I mentioned, I don't think it provides as much traction on the rope. So it's very easy for someone to do something like the J hook and actually slide down the rope. They don't get that super strong footing. But it can work for you, and I've seen it work for a lot of really high-level athletes, so by all means, make sure that you try it. So the final clamp that I want to teach you about is my personal favorite, and that's what I would like to call the stomp. Basically, it looks a lot like the J hook method, except instead of having your feet side by side, one foot is stepping on top of the other. So for me, it's my dominant foot, so my right foot, I'm a righty, I write with my right hand, that's a tongue twister. My right foot is on top of my base foot, which is my off foot. My left hand or my left foot is at the bottom. So what's happening here is I'm stepping my dominant foot on top of my base foot. When you do this and you do this effectively, the stomp technique is a great way to get lots of traction and allow you to get up the rope quickly. Since there's no wrapping, the rope isn't behind your body, it stays completely in front of you, it's also a quick way to get up the rope. From what I understand, it's also what a lot of the top level athletes use to get up the rope quickly, but also make sure that they're not fatiguing their arms. The bottom line is regardless of which of these three techniques you choose, or you could choose a variety of other techniques. There's so many different versions of this, it would take me forever to go through it. But what you need to do is to figure out which one feels the most comfortable for you. And again, what I suggest doing is practicing from a box. So what a box does is that allows you to focus on getting your feet set up, and then you can get a good clamp, and then practice standing up and seeing if you can support yourself. The box allows you to eliminate all the distraction of actually having to jump up off the ground or pull yourself from the ground. So the box is a great option to help you practice your first couple pulls with your new clamp method.
The key to rope climbs is using as much arms as possible. After all, what are we in here for? To get really good at climbing ropes or to have big arm muscles? It's arms. So when you climb a rope, if you're not using my watermelon thigh squeeze technique, just make sure you are trying to get the biggest pump possible. So it's all about pump, and then you just kip, and then you pump and kip. But the key here is you just want to make sure that you show lots of vascularity in your forearms and biceps. That's the key to climbing a rope.
The fourth and final step when it comes to learning how to climb a rope for beginners is you need to test your clamp. So when you work from a box, that's great, and you can get your feet set, it'll feel great. But all that goes out the window when you actually start climbing the rope and you don't have all of that time to support yourself and look at your feet while you're climbing the rope. So it's time to actually test your technique and see if you can make it work. So there's two different tests that I want you to do. Test number one is 2 pulls. So rather than just clamping and standing once, I want you to make sure that you can actually clamp, stand, and then do it again. So remember, what we're trying to do here is we reach, lift, clamp, stand. Well, I want you to reach, lift, clamp, stand up, and then do it one more time. I don't really care how high you get on the rope, don't worry about that. But what we're trying to do is practice. Can you get into the clamp, then get out of it to lift your knees really high and your feet really high? And do you have the skills to re-clamp from there? So you need to be able to clamp, unclamp, re-clamp. And for a lot of people, this is where that Spanish wrap kind of goes out the window. Any of the complicated wrap techniques are just really difficult, frankly, to wrap and unwrap in the middle of your rope climb. It just wastes a lot of time. And then test number 2, this is one that really will test to make sure you have a solid grip on that rope with your feet. That's the no hands test, or 0% arms is what I call it. So a lot of people, when they're learning to do their first rope climbs, and even when we were practicing here earlier, a lot of us like to use our arms for like 95% of the rope climb. They make it an arm movement. And sure, if it's a legless rope climb, it is an arm movement. But if you're doing a rope climb properly, it actually should be mostly your legs and your core with not too much going on with your hands. So this test is just simply when you get yourself up onto the rope at some point during your climb, I want you to literally let go of your hands. And what I mean by that is I don't want you to let go and then fall off behind you, right? I just want you to get to the top, stand, and then see if you can loosen up your grip. See if you can actually let go of your grip. If you can, that means you're actually standing on your clamp. If you can't, if as soon as you start to release your hands, you start sliding down the rope, that means that your clamp isn't strong enough and you need to be working on making sure that you get a good clamp to create enough tension so that it can actually support your full body weight. That is the key. So again, let's go over the 4 steps. Step number 1, make sure that you have the right equipment. Step number 2 was making sure that you understand the inchworm, or the reach, lift, clamp, stand. Step number 3 is to make sure that you actually practice different clamping techniques until you find one that works best for you personally. And then step number 4 is you have to put yourself to the test. You have to see, can you clamp and reclamp and stand easily without getting too distracted or without panicking on the rope? And then last but not least, can you support 100% of your weight when you're standing in that clamp? If you do these 4 steps, it's a lot easier said than done, but if you do these 4 steps, I promise you, you will be getting up that rope a lot more easily. Now, what happens when you get to the top? We have a whole video on that. So go check out the video that we have here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram about how to get down the rope. I know specifically, if you just type in how to get down rope climb, you will find our WODprep video on YouTube that teaches you exactly how I suggest getting down the rope, which is no easy task, and it's where a lot of people get injured. So make sure you go check that out. If you like this video, then there's a way that you can get even better coaching from WODprep. I have 2 different things that I want to tell you about. Number 1, if you want to get coaching, if you want to talk to me and the rest of my team directly and say, hey, Ben, or hey, CJ, hey, Colette, David, our whole coaching team, hey, can you watch this video and tell me what I'm doing wrong and right? Then join WODprep Masters. That's where WODprep athletes go to get coaching. No matter what level you are at, WODprep Masters is a great place to get direct feedback from our expert coaches. Then also, we have something called WODprep Academy. WODprep Academy is where you can get all of my best programming and all of my best in-depth tutorial videos like this that teach you how to do movements like bar muscle-ups, double unders, handstand walks, handstand push-ups, ring muscle-ups, so on and so forth. If you join WODprep Academy, you'll have access to every single piece of paid content we've ever created. Plus, you'll get access to all the future courses that we release down the road. So, coaching, go to WODprep Masters. If you want courses and instructional videos and detailed programming, then you can go to WODprep Academy. Regardless of which one you choose, I'd love to have you inside the WODprep family. And either way, I'll see you next week when I release a new video. Peace.